Okay, welcome. I shouldn't laugh because my rib still hurts, but hey. Yeah, that's what the one was for, Safia. But hey, it doesn't matter. at least at least you are a man that's true to his words, you know? And that's all that matters. Anyways, welcome everyone. Um yeah. I still have pain in my rib. I don't know if it's bruised or broken, but it doesn't really matter because you can't really do anything else with it. It's the treatment is the same anyway. Um, so yeah, just a bit of a chill stream today. Trying not to move around too much because that sometimes hurts. But I've got a weird little tune idea thing that I kind of want to work on. Plus, there's also a new plugin that got released that looks quite interesting, and I kind of want to check it out today on stream. So, let's do that. Let's do that. Let me adjust that. There we go. So, let me just, I guess, begin with that new plugin because it looks quite interesting. Let me, what should we open up real quick? We'll just do piano. Probably good. Let's just open up a piano real quick. Sefia knows which one. But looks quite interesting for sound design and resampling as well. Although I do have a feature request that some of you that might be watching my channel for a while might know what the feature request is, but we are in C on this track. We are in, what was it again? I think that's what we were in Phrygian. Bass sounds nasty on it. I have not messed around with it a lot yet. Just a couple of little things. Cool, whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's just so that we have something here. There we go. So that's it, basically. Now, what is it? It's kind of like well, how I see it at least. I mean, it has 3 different sort of like effects in it. At least as of now, I'm not sure if they will add more effects later, but for now there's 3, and you've got basically a convolution reverb, you've got a granular thing, and then a filter. But it kind of sounds very similar to like grain delay sometimes as well. It's very capable of doing like grain delay kind of things. It just, yeah, let me just get the feature request out of the way right off the bat, because we're gonna probably notice that immediately when I start doing something now. Lunacy Audio, I already tweeted them about this. Give us a lock feature for this mix. Global mix should have a lock feature so that when you do either generate preset or random preset, you can lock this to 100%. That would make this plugin immediately 10 times better, in my opinion. Because it will make it so much better for like sound design. If you just have like a little pattern in your track and you just want to make some other stuff from it, you can just chuck this on it and just flick through some presets while the mix is at 100% and just capture the output. And that is going to be so much more useful compared to when you just click this button and the mix changes the entire time, because the mix is set in the presets. So that's one little thing. Other than that, so far I haven't really found anything that was bugging me. So, but yeah, it's kind of like a multi-effect. So if we just, let's just do a random preset. Do it 100, but... So, we can open these things up. You've got all kinds of impulses in here that you can choose from. And here, this is the granular thing. And then there's a filter, of course, as well. We can add, like, new paths if we want. So we can say, like, I want a path here to here. And then we can say add maybe a filter in here. So, and then maybe we want a reverb there as well. See, so you can like add things here, which is kind of cool. See. So, very grain delay kind of effect here, but having the reverb and shit in it here is quite nice. So like I said, you can just choose random presets here, that's always nice. And then they've also got this generate preset thing, which just generates new presets. Also quite nice to have. Now, like I said, I'm not sure if they will add more effects. I hope they will in the future. Like if they will add more to here, that would be sick. But for now, this is already pretty nice. So like thing for just for sound design, I guess. I haven't really tried it on bass, to be honest, but I can imagine it can probably do some cool stuff on there as well. I heard they would. Yeah, I mean that would be sick. Having like you've got like some modulation stuff as well. Maybe like it would be nice if they would add like, I don't know, maybe like instead of just LFOs also add like 2 envelopes or something, that you can also make things that are just like, you know, modulating once through something and not just the entire time. That could probably also be cool. Right now you've only got like 2 LFOs, but maybe like 2 envelopes in there or something would be nice. The macro knob's cool. Maybe additional macro knobs, not really needed, but I guess people probably would like to see that in the future, especially if there's more effects being added in the future. I can see how people wanting more than 1 macro knob, but for now, I guess it does the job. Anyways, about what we were working on, and let me address the title of the stream as well. We might use that plugin a little bit during the stream to make some sounds. But the stream is called Who Can Count to 7? Well, if anybody is looking at this and thinks, wait a second, maybe if I zoom in, that starts looking a bit weird. That is yes, because this project is set to a time of 7/4. You can't see it, but if we do that, right here at the top, we've got 7/4. Right there. I made this little thing, a little sketch of something, and it is in fact in 7/4. It is drum and bass as well, but it's not really where I want it to be yet. So let me just play it, and then we'll see what we will do to this. So let's have a little listen. Yeah, I did most of the amount of work on the drums. Didn't really do much work on the rest. This Reese is just a low pass sol with some unison, for instance. But I was just messing with the drums mostly in the last couple of days. Anyways, that's basically what we have. But I really like where the drums are going, so... Especially because it does feel like a pattern that repeats properly, you know? It doesn't feel like there's necessarily a beat missing in the groove. And that's the most important thing when I feel when you go like in a weird time signature. Like it's easy to be like, oh, I just, you know, I'm in 7/4. I've just taken off a beat of whatever groove would work in 4/4, you know? Like let's say you just take 2 bars of 4/4 and you just take the last beat off. It's gonna sound weird. But if the groove lends itself for it, then it can work. And in this instance, I don't necessarily think it feels like there's a missing beat. It just feels like it goes continuously. Like it's not like, oh, okay, maybe at first it will be because you're so used to 4/4, but very quickly it will start sounding right. So that's, I think, the main thing that needs to be the case. So what are we gonna do with this? That's the main question. Not sure if I want to use this layer, to be honest. I mean, it just kind of fills this up a little bit, but... So one thing that I wanted to do is have less taikos in here, because it feels like a bit much, maybe. So let's see. Let's make sure that we save. We are saved already on the new version name, so we should be good. Let me get rid of these real quick. Like maybe even just that. Oh wait, they're not in the right spot. One moment. Maybe they are. Oh yeah, of course, I'm getting thrown off as well, because this is already hitting on like the second beat there, so... I'll see. Let me just grab this. That still worked better, so just make sure that we have this like that. Maybe we'll take out something here. Maybe something like that. Okay, for now let me not sure if we're gonna use this thing, but if we filter it, it can be nice. Do a bit of EQ on it, and these reverbs. Put that after there. Something like that, maybe. That could be cool. Definitely. I wish there was a way to capture that automation after you've done it. That would be sick. Just like the MIDI capture thing, but then like a capture automation. Or is that this thing? No, that's session record. Okay. That would be sick if there was a way to do that. Don't think there is. Let's just make sure that we go down at the end here. I mean, I can do that by hand. Quick. We just do that, and then what was it again? I think this one. Just not sure if that matters. Okay, that should do. Thanks, Cookie Monster. So here we definitely want some other thing coming up. Just let's see. Huh, that actually worked pretty well. That's not sure if we want to have noise though. Maybe we want to have some other kind of sound. What if we resample this thing? So this is just that thing that happens just hits every, what is it? Every 4 bars, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, we are in 7/4 today. Listen, if we go to the drums real quick. That's a drum pattern. I actually thought initially that when I came up with this groove, and especially when I added the taiko drum, I was like, isn't that the same time signature as that old Photek tune, that one called what is called Niten Ichi Ryu, I believe. I thought, like, isn't that the same time signature? So I went and looked up that tune, but it's actually not. That track is literally just in 4/4. It just sounds completely broken because the drums are so off grid and like so like it misses the downbeat so many times that it just feels like a different time signature. But that track is actually just 4/4. Or it isn't like 4/4 and then it adds like one bar of like a different amount every once in a while, but most of the track is just literally 4/4. And I thought, oh, interesting. Always thought that one was in a weird time signature, but it's really not. But it still sounds like it though. But that's just the drum groove in that track is just so weird. There's so many skips in the beat and all that kind of stuff that just make it sound like that. So what if we, because this thing, it sounds different every time it plays. So, like, the resonance is different every time. Sometimes it sounds good, and sometimes it sounds a little bit weird. So, let's just resample this. Let's just freeze and flatten that one. Then we can also pick out the good sounding ones. I just wanted to try some stuff in like a weird time signature, and it didn't start like that. This one initially just started as 4/4, but I was working on that. I was just chopping up a break, and it's actually the break that's still in here. I might change that break so that we get a little bit more control over it, because I don't really have a lot of control over this one because I already resampled it and then I used the resampled version. I should have just left it to the individual layers, but I don't have them anymore because I did that in a different project. But it started as 4/4 and I was chopping up a break. Would leave it, it adds to the vibe. What? Adds to the vibe. But I was chopping up the break and I was like, it actually sounds cool if I just take a beat off. I was like trying to figure out, I had like 7 good beats chopped up after each other. I think it was actually the same groove as what I have here. So if we just copy that somewhere down here so there's no sidechain. I think it was just the same groove. Let's see, I think I was chopping it up and this is the thing that repeats, so yeah, I think I had something like this. And I was playing around with like that last beat and I was like, can put like, I don't know, maybe another snare or something there, and I was trying to figure that out and I was like, nothing sounds really interesting enough, right? And I was like, okay. And then I just put that kick drum thing that I think it's the same part that's here, or oh no, there's one extra little 16 part there, so it's some other kick section from the track. I think it's this section. This is the first kick, and then there's another kick right here. I think I took that section and just chucked it there at the end, and I got that. And I was like, okay. And then I added like an extra snare to it, coming from Addictive Drums. I was like, okay. And then I had that kick underneath there. And I was like, oh, yeah, that actually works. So that's kind of how it came to be. I was just chopping up a break, and then I thought, why don't I just make it 7/4? Those beginning sounds, I mean, I guess, but why not just take whatever one works best? And you can take multiple, like alternate between two. These are slightly different. I think it's mostly the first ones that sound the best, and these ones have that weirder resonance, but it kind of works having them after each other. But I wanted to resample it anyway, because I wanted to try grabbing maybe one of these. If we just grab that one, for instance, let's just make that on and put that on a new track. Let's chuck that right there, and then we'll something like that. Reverse that one. Let's just let's pitch it up an octave. What if we put a ton of reverb on it? Let's just grab this one. Not sure if I like that, but we'll see. Let me, I'm gonna go and check on the drums again real quick, because might go for something a bit more like that, as a bit more transient. Now, the break, there's still a bit of an issue happening between this break and the snare. Like, you can hear it when I have just the snare playing by itself. It's decently snappy. Can be punchier, but it doesn't really. I don't really think this track needs that much of a punchy snare, right? It's snappy enough, I guess, for this kind of a track. But when you add the break in, you can hear that sort of like the tone of the snare changes a bit, and it kind of is because I feel like there's some stuff from the break the fundamental of the snare in there that's sort of like layering with the fundamental of our own snare, and they're really close together, but they're not exactly the same. Or they're not like exactly the same pitch, so they're so like slightly off from each other, and it smears the transient a bit. So I think there is already sidechain happening. There is. Not. Oh yeah, there is a 100% sidechain. Weird. It's taken a lot out, but it's still kind of messing with. I did some sidechain with Soothe to kind of make it less already. But I'm still not happy with that. So let's see. Let's go. So this just tunes up and down the break. So yeah, I might try doing the break from scratch again, having like or from scratch. I know which break I took initially. I took two, but I know which one of them I still remember, and that was the main break, which was one of these. Or we just keep this, but then we have to maybe maybe if I just chop this one up. Let's try that out. Let's go, and I'm just gonna go and grab a short section of that. Let me just do. I guess I can just take that, which would be 1 bar. Oh wait, I should have checked the markers real quick. Yeah, see, we're missing one right there. That one is right, that one. Actually, because I really don't trust Ableton's capabilities of adding warp markers, I'll do it myself, because they're usually slightly off. So let's just do that, 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 that. Do another thing there. Doesn't really matter, I think, but let's. No, it sounds like one hit. Okay. Good. That one, that's 2 hits right there, and then we'll do. There we go. Do that again. See, so we were missing 3 slices. Wrong one. So that's the break that we actually have. So it actually already sounds a lot different here, because I did quite a bit of processing on it. But let's start from this one. Now, consolidating shouldn't do anything. No, exactly. So, I might even take these out. And, oh, what if we... What if we do that? Loop that. Okay. And let's try... I can maybe do the kick as well, because we kind of already have a kick, so... That's kind of the only part I need from this break, to be honest. Now, obviously, we do have a couple of gaps now, but I might just fill that up with some of the other ads, for instance. Let's grab the rest of the processing from here real quick. That may be the sidechain. Like, I don't mind that. We just have the kicks in here. That's better, because then it doesn't sound like there's a gap there. Like, those snares, I don't think we really need them in this case. That way it sounds cleaner than when we have the full break with the snare in there. It's subtle. And now we also have the freedom to just move these around a bit if we want, every now and then, to give it some variation. Is this noisy inspired? Not necessarily. Okay, let's get rid of this one. Quickly see how it looks. What we got now. Yeah, I'm still thinking about what kind of a drop I want to do for this. I do have a little bit of a section where we go into a breeze here. But that breeze is really basic at the moment. We could get into that section. Okay, that one came a little bit out of nowhere there. This one. Yo, weird EQ. Okay, we'll check in a bit what that does. Yeah, that's what the breeze sounds like at the moment. Kind of really basic. Do we hear something coming in on top of it though? That could be cool. Yeah. Let's see. Grab this. Let's do a bit pitch bend probably here at the end. Here. Oh yeah, the bars in Serum are now also off. That's that's the one issue when you work in a time signature that is not 4/4. Serum does not understand that. So if I set this to 2 bar in Serum, it's not going to be 2 bars in Ableton. It's going to be 2 bars in 4/4. So that's a bit of a weird one. So if I set this to 2 bars, for instance, it's not going to loop every 2 bars because our bars are different. But that doesn't matter. Let's just replace that with a macro. We'll just do macro 1 here. That. if we just chuck... oh, is thermal slow again today? It's weird. One day one day the preset loading is fast, the other day it's slow. So weird. Don't get it. We want something to... that distorts it together a bit. Where are they? Oh, here. Soft clip. That might work. Yeah, not really sounding the way I want that. So let me just let's think. What can we do? Do some sound design, probably. That's probably gonna be the move. Not care about the tune, but just do some sound design, make some sounds. Also, one thing that keeps bugging me is the amount of highs on the taiko when they first come in. I know it's a minor thing, but let me just quickly fix that. Just grab this. Let's just grab a high shelf. Do something like this. It's a bit better. Might even leave it like that, to be honest. Like the entire way through. Although here it kind of wants a little bit of extra high end, so I guess what we could do is just grab the scale here and just automate that scale down, maybe in the second half here. Go to 0, right there. Like, it's gonna be really solo, you don't really notice that much anyway, but then in here the taikos have that little bit of high end, whereas in the intro they are a little bit darker. But I don't think there's a chord progression in here, to be honest. So we're just sticking to C, I guess. But what kind of drop are we gonna do? That's the question. Get rid of that distortion because it's a bit much there. This one didn't really work, so let's get rid of that. Yeah. Chat. Suggestions. Old Terrace, Reese. I'm happy. It's not really my style most of the time. Like, I enjoy old school drum bass, but I don't necessarily make that a lot. Let's see. Let's open up. Let's just open up an operator. Wouldn't go nuts on chords. Nay, I know. I know. Like, maybe something very subtle. Let's see. That's kind of what we are in the entire time. I think that is just doing this. But I don't like that. Maybe he just wants to do that. This one. Yeah, yo, Angelite, welcome. I'm kind of thinking where to take this this 7/4 thing, and oh, damn it! Don't move too much, otherwise your rib hurts. Um, Sometimes it's good to try different things, see how it can sound. Just my €2 worth. Art, I need a decent headphones for sound design. My room has awful acoustics. What do you suggest? I mean, I would suggest the headphones that I use, which are Beyerdynamics. I mean, I can only really suggest the brands that I know, that I've used, which is Beyers and AKG. And I used Sennheiser as well back in the day, but those were like really shitty old Sennheisers, and they're probably not comparable to the ones that they make today. So I'm not gonna really talk about those too much. I like the Beyerdynamics ones a lot, especially for longer sessions. They're still pretty nice to wear for like long sessions, so that's good. And in my opinion, they just sound a little bit better than the AKGs that I had, which were the K240s, which are great headphones too. It's just that the Beyers are a little bit, I don't know, the high end is a bit more, how to describe it, a bit more detailed, I guess. Although they also kind of lack a bit of bass, but I don't really care too much about that, because bass is often already easier to hear on headphones anyway. Unless you have like a really big set of speakers, of course, in a nice treated room. Then, it might be easier to judge it on your speakers, but most of the time, I find headphones already easier to judge the bass on anyway, so I don't really mind that there's a little bit of roll off in the bass. Do you hear surprises after using those? Not necessarily, but that is probably also just because I'm used to them and I know what it sounds like, or how it translates to my speakers, I guess, when I work on my headphones. Because, I've used these headphones for years now, so when I use them, I kind of already know what it will sound like on my speakers, if you get what I mean. But I do every now and then go on my speakers to check, of course, because it might just be something that you didn't expect, right? And sometimes, as well, sometimes on my speakers, I will just hear a different thing that I wouldn't have picked up on my headphones, for instance, and vice versa. Yeah, you can use headphone correction. True. The model name, the ones I have are the Beyerdynamics DT880 Pro, but there's like a couple of different ones. You've got the 770s, I believe those are the closed back ones, if I'm correct. Or are the 770s the open backed ones? Somebody in the chat probably knows. It's either the 770s are closed and the 990s are open, or vice versa. I don't know exactly. Yes, okay. 770 is closed. Okay, yeah. So for like sound design purposes and like mixing purposes, I would say the 990s are probably better, because those are open backed, right? So you get better audio quality for mixing purposes. But the one downside of it will be is that they have a lot more bleed into microphones, for instance. So in my case, I got sort of like the middle ground, which is the 880s, which is semi-open, semi-closed, because then there's a little bit less sort of like sound going into the mic that I use during the stream, and I'm also not like fully closed, so I'm still getting a bit. It's sort of like an in-between, basically. If you want for like sound design purposes and like mixing purposes, ones that are just the best for that, and you don't really take into account like using them for like recording vocals, for instance, and you just use different headphones for that, definitely go for the open backed ones. DJing you need closed. I'm not entirely sure what you would need for DJing. I don't think it would matter that much. Unless you're using like a mic or something, but even then, like, I don't think that matters that much because you have like the monitor speakers as well, so there's probably something that they do anyways. But like when we're talking about like production versus like or production mixing and stuff like that versus like recording vocals, then it really matters a lot. That's what I know at least. Because if you would use like open backed headphones and you put those on like a singer and they have the music playing and they record vocals, then you will hear the music in the vocal take because that just bleeds into the mic. Whereas that's kind of what a closed back headphone is for, to prevent that from happening. And then there's also the 1990s, I believe, which are like the more expensive ones. I don't even, well, I can't really say much about those because I've never used them. Yeah, like I said, Greedo. Like I said, I don't really know those, so I can't really say a lot about those. But the ones that I have, I'm pretty happy with. So, like, if these would break now, I would probably just buy the same ones again. And I didn't have that with the AKGs because when I, started, the one downside with the AKGs, I don't have here anymore. There's somewhere else. The one downside with those was that I had the AKG K240 Mark II, I believe. But the downside of those was that during like a long session of like a couple of hours, at the end of the session, I would always have like pain on the top of my ear. Like the ear cushion would rest on the top of my ear a little bit, and they were also not like this nice soft cushion, but they were like more like leathery, if you get what I mean. And I would always get pain in my ears, and not like my ears itself, like my eardrums, but like the outside shell of my ear, basically. And that was always on like longer sessions, so that's why I went and looked for something else. And that's how I ended up with the Bayers. And now I don't have that anymore, so these are definitely nicer. Now, I do think these also come with the rubber ones, but you can change them, so. Yeah, I do think the 770s look pretty... I just... I looked at the frequency responses as well, and I eventually I forgot what was the reason I went with these, but I think it was just a combination of the fact that it was semi-open, so I would have a little bit less bleed into the mic during streams, and just the frequency curve looking pretty decent. The one thing with correction though, it's all right. It's good, but I honestly don't really use it anymore. Like, I don't really have Sonarworks on my master anymore. I don't really use it because the one issue I find with it is that because it does these weird boosts, right? It tries to flatten out the frequency response curve. If you are producing and let's say you don't have a limiter on your master track. Maybe you do at any times, but even then, I would say it can be problematic. And let's say you're doing some sound design and this one weird resonant frequency comes out, but that just happens to be right in a spot where Sonarworks also boosts because of the fact that there's a dip in the frequency curve. Now that frequency is going to be even more louder and even more resonant. So it might just boost it way above zero, and it could potentially even hurt your ears if you don't watch out. Now, I would say if that happens, you've probably already got your volume too high anyway, but still, I would always make sure to have a limiter after it if you would use some kind of room correction or headphone correction, especially headphone correction. Room correction is not that big of a deal, I guess, but headphone correction, it's more important, I guess, because it can suddenly give you like a boost that goes above zero, for instance. And if your levels are already set up pretty on the higher end, and that might just become quite loud. And honestly, I don't think you really need it, you know? What matters the most, and that's what I always try to say to people when they come to me about this. It doesn't really matter too much what your listening setup is, as long as it's semi decent. What matters a lot more is how used you are to that listening setup. You can use like €100 headphones and make really good music. It doesn't really matter. I mean, yes, it might be a little bit easier when you have really expensive headphones or really good speakers and stuff like that, but if you have really expensive gear and you don't really know it that well, that's going to be worth so much less than a shitty pair of speakers or a shitty pair of headphones that you know really well. So that's something that's way more important than investing in like a really good speakers or headphones for that matter. Anyways, back to what are we gonna do with this? Because that's the biggest question. That's not going to be in time, of course. That's another issue. If your project is set to 7.4 and you're trying to play a bunch of 4.4 loops in your browser, it just does not align. I figured that out as well. I was just yesterday as well. I was trying to find like a cool percussion loop to put in here. I think it was the break that I was looking for or something, and nothing would just align. So yeah, that's a bit of a. Would be nice if Ableton could fix that, but I'm not sure if they can. See, even then, it will try to warp this 4.4 break to 7.4, which is not what is supposed to happen. See, it's set to a BPM of 150, whereas this loop is in 172. How many hours you spend in a day? Make sample packs for other companies? Not much. It kind of depends, you know. Sometimes you get a job and then you spend a lot of time in a short time frame on that, and then you might not have a couple of jobs for like a bunch of time, and then you get another job again. So it kind of depends, you know. When I will have a job, then that comes in, then I will probably work on it a lot in those couple of weeks or months, and then afterwards, when it's done, you know, it's back to just doing stuff that I want to do. The Black Octopus sound packs are just packs that I made myself. They're not made specifically for them. It's just that it's basically just they distribute the packs for me. So when I have made a sample pack and I release it, I'll send it to them, and they take care of the distribution of it. So they take care of making sure that it comes on all the different sample pack stores, that it's on Splice, that it's on their own stores. They take care of all the customer support, stuff like that, right? So I'm just letting that being handled by them while, you know, I can just spend time making samples, for instance. I do have a regular job. Yeah, I do have a regular job. Oh. Yeah, I'm kind of at a loss where to take this one. Maybe I'll just grab these drums, chuck them over here. Just a shitty retail job. Nothing spectacular to write home about. Just a job that allows me to, you know, work half a week and then have the other half of the week just for my own stuff. That's all that matters for the job. Doesn't really matter what kind of job it is, as long as it's a job that allows me to not have to work full time so that I can just spend time on my own stuff. Oh, wait. Don't need MP. Not really that is gonna do much, but let's add that for now. Sidechain off real quick. Ooh, we could also make this weird, this thing. Let's not. Let's just leave it like this. I was like, we could add like a weird stereo thing to it, but let's not. Let's not make it more complicated than it should. A little bit of. Should we do that? Yeah, like going full-time music is a dream I think a lot of people have, but it's especially in today's industry, it's really difficult. In fact, to put it into perspective, like this isn't even with the current state of the industry, but if we go back like 10 years, something like that, um it was already bad back then. Like, and it's only gotten worse since then. So what I had back then, for instance, when I went to art school, we had like somebody working in our school who was like the, what do you call the person who is basically the person who maintains all. We had basically art school, and then in the basement there was this huge room filled with computers where students would be able to work on like computers there. And they were all like Mac computers and stuff, like fancy ones with like all the Adobe suite on it and all that. So everybody could just use those if you were a student. And I forgot how you call somebody that's basically the person who maintains that entire place, all the computers and shit. He was actually an MC in the weekends. He would do shows all over the world every single weekend. And during the weekdays, he would just be the person there working at our school. So it's like, and he wasn't a small MC either. Like he did a lot of the big like hardcore and like hardstyle parties. He did a lot of Paul Elstock shows. Like he did some really big stuff. And he did a lot of shows, especially during that time. Like I think it was like almost every weekend he would have at least one show to perform as an MC, but more often he would have like multiple. And he would just be working there in the school during the weekdays. So I know another DJ, pretty well-known DJ in the hardcore scene here as well, um, who just happened to also run his own record store here in Rotterdam. You know, on the side. So a lot of artists that I know that I grew up with did their thing next to it. They would either at some point, like maybe not just like a regular job. Like for instance, they would run a record store, or at some point they would maybe run a record label, and then that record label would also start distributing merchandise and all of that kind of stuff, right? But a lot of times there would be something on the side. And that says a lot about the pay for artists. I mean, it's quite a discussion point at this moment on social media, and on the internet in general. So it's quite interesting to see everybody's opinion on it. Like you should never go into music to begin with for the money. If you go into music for the money, then you're already going into it for the wrong reason, right? Um, but sadly, there are a lot of people that go into music because they just want to make it big. They just want to be wealthy and famous. But you shouldn't forget that the ones who actually become that, more often than not, got into music because they just loved making music, and that's all that matters. And if you get lucky, I guess, and if you work hard enough, then you might get there eventually. But it was yeah, I've seen so many DJs that did shows in the weekends and then during the week just had a regular job. It's pretty normal, actually. Unless you're like a really big name DJ that, headlines a lot of parties and gets like a lot of money for their shows, then you're probably gonna maybe not work a full-time job on the side, but maybe work a couple of days a week, you know? Live from something you created, yeah. I mean, that's what we all want, right? That's what we all would like. I mean, Pierre, I get it. It's not something that I would personally do, but I get it. The people who do that kind of stuff, they're just also trying to survive. That's sadly the state that a lot of artists will be pushed into these days. In fact, like, I saw this not too long ago. Was a little discussion about a band. I believe it was a metal band, and they were from Europe, and they were, seeing a lot of influx of new fans in like the US, for instance, and they were getting some, like organization or like some party event organized to ask them to come over to the US, and like their fans especially were asking that, but they just could not afford it to do so because of the cost. Like, the extra cost it would bring to them would basically mean that they would have to pay money to go on tour in the US as a European band, which, there were a lot of people then that started replying with like, oh, but can you just, like, the travel costs and all of that, can you just put that in your rider and stuff like that? And they were like, yeah, sure, but as a band who isn't the biggest band out there, a lot of these venues would not cover all the costs, for instance, and they would still have to pay a lot of money themselves out of their own pockets to even make that happen. And that is the state that a lot of the industry is in. It's quite messed up. But yeah, I don't know how we're gonna fix it. Like, the entire industry is a mess at the moment. Like, the whole streaming thing did not turn out the way it was supposed to turn out, or what artists were promised, right? And it's only lining the pockets of some very wealthy tech companies and owners of tech companies, whereas the artists themselves really aren't getting anything. Well, where most artists aren't really seeing a big improvement in the industry, right? So yeah, you kind of, everybody is kind of forced to do something on the side, whether it is like having a Patreon, I don't know, having like merchandise, doing tutorials, doing private lessons, sample packs. There's so many things you can do, but in the end, it all takes time away from that artist being able to work on his art, right? Mm. Let's not talk about the James Blake thing. That thing was so fucking stupid. Yo, mate, I've got a solution for the whole industry. Only comes up with a fucking Patreon-like thing. Like, dude, we already had that. What's new about this? He really thought he had something new, but it literally just was I mean, it was just a promotion campaign for that whole thing. Let's be honest. He probably has a part ownership in the company or some kind of involvement with it that he gets like money from it, probably. Why else would he promote it as the only artist being on that fucking app? It was so obvious, but hey, whatever. I didn't really look too far into it, but just on like one look on the surface and I was like, yeah, this is just so obviously just a promotion campaign for this new app. At least that's what it looked like to me. Just packaged as if like, oh, look, I found a way to solve the issue on the music industry of, you know, streams not paying shit and artists kind of not getting a lot of pay for their work. But to me, it just looked like, oh, hey, I'm involved with this app and I need to help promote this. So I'm just going to put my name on it and package it like this so that everybody's going to click on it. And now suddenly there's a whole bunch of traffic to this new app. Right? I mean, literally just how marketing works. So, but yeah, I saw everybody as well going at him. I was like, I'll just not mix myself into this. He's already getting enough hate for it, I think. Okay, I need to figure out something real quick, but I do hear something with this kind of a groove here. If we have like that real quick. Oh, not there. Wait, maybe I have a Reese patch that we can open up that is gonna help us to get somewhere quicker. Reese's. What do we got? Oh, we got this one. Might be a bit heavy, but might also work. Let's see. Is this set to the right skill? No, it's not. Let's do C, and then let's do Phrygian, so that just locks to the right skill. And then I should be able to just chuck a bunch of notes in here. Okay. Yeah, it's maybe a bit heavy. Where's the reverb coming from? Now it changes the MIDI notes as well. There's a lot of stuff being automated here. I think the glide time changes as well. Yeah. Basically just a little patch I made for Patreon. But But it's basically just you just make a pattern, and then the low notes will remain the same. So like all these low notes here, they would just be whatever note you play. But then from about here somewhere, see, every time you hit that note, it just plays a different pitch. And that's because of this random thing that's happening here. That just brings it back into the scale that it should be in. So that we get all these weird random sort of like pitches happening, but they're in tune with the scale itself. So alright, this was set to 3. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff moving around at random, which is why you get all these variations. Maybe we can use that. Wait, we have something we can use. Let's see. Bass. What is in here? Nope, not an audio track. Let's just chuck you in here. Gonna be completely the wrong pitch, but that's fine. Let's set this to E0 because Semp was an E. Add some pitch to it. Let's just do
wish they added a way to just... They should have just added like a little arrow on the side of that. I hate drop-down menus. Just give me like a fucking arrow that I can click to swap through the different shapes. That would be so much quicker. I don't get it why companies add like drop-down menus in today's day and age. Just give us like a little... Even if it would just be like hold control and click on this. And just so that it goes to the next one. Something like that. Or just 2 little arrows on the side of it. Just click, 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 click. Quickly go through the different shapes. Oh yeah, we also got this feedback thing. That thing is honestly pretty interesting. If we need it here though, but... Are there... Oh yeah, here. I was like, are there also crossovers? But there are. Okay, let's add some Q. I mean, yeah, we can add hotkeys. Sure, I know. But there should be no reason why you should do that yourself. Because it's a really easy thing for them to add. Yeah, I just hate having to set up your own auto hotkeys for shit. Why would you have to do that? Just have them add that fucking button. So much easier. Plus that would make it the same for everybody. Not sure where this sound is going, but let's see. Let's check some reverb on it. Why not? We'll go with the convolution one. I don't know, textures. See what we get. What the fuck? What the hell? Okay. happens. Sort of mess, of course. Yeah, no amp. If you have an audio interface, you should be able to drive a 250 ohm headphones. Unless you maybe have a shitty old one, but most audio interfaces these days can just drive one. I'm using a USB powered interface, a small one from Motu, and it can drive a 250 headphones just fine. Take the TV off the wall, mate. No, this probably just that happens. You know, I don't know. Maybe you can put like some rubber or something behind it so that you don't notice it, or just try fix it. But yeah, shit like that happens. Don't like this one. Sorry, mate. I think your TV probably rattled with that one. Yeah, I have the Motu 4, the M4. It's a small but really decent interface. It's not too expensive either, so. I was having issues with my Focusrite a lot, so I was looking for a different one. And the most obvious choice would have been Army. Army on Windows is just probably one of the best options. Their drivers are really solid, and their ASIO driver is also like a true multi-client ASIO driver, whereas most ASIO drivers are not. The Motu one actually does multi-client ASIO well, so I think that their driver actually is multi-client as well. But most drivers do some weird fuckery to make the multi-client ASIO work, where they kind of have like this. So like, I think it's just a driver that just switches between. It just basically is like kind of like an exclusivity mode, where it just tells like, oh, this software is now using it, so now all the other softwares are not using it, so I'm turning it off for all the other ones. And then when you switch to a different program, it's like, oh, now it needs to be turned on there, right? Whereas the Motu one, I can use Ableton and have it running on ASIO. My streaming software, there's no like virtual cable thing needed. It just picks up the mic input from my interface basically right away. It's just a direct input into my streaming software with some processing on it. But I can also, for instance, at the same time, open up Audacity that's also running on the Moto Asia driver and record something from YouTube, for instance, while Ableton is still running. I can do that even while Ableton is playing audio. So, like, of course, if I do that, then Audacity will record the Ableton audio as well, of course, but it doesn't then cut out the audio of Ableton. So it's actually able to have multiple pieces of software use the same driver at once, which is something that a lot of drivers are not that good at. Like I don't know about the Focusrite drivers these days, but I always had a lot of issues with them. Especially with like streaming. Like if you're just doing music production, Focusrite is probably going to be good enough. But if you want to start streaming or share your audio to like somebody else over Discord or something like that, then is probably when you're going to get issues, or at least with the drivers that I had back in the day with the Focusrite ones. Yeah, RME is definitely costly. But, you know, there's a reason for it as well, I guess. Like, the build quality on this on RME is absolutely, well, perfect. Basically, the build quality is really good. And, like, all the parts that are in it, like the DA converters and stuff, they're all really high quality and all that kind of stuff. So, kind of makes sense that they're more expensive, but I think they're made in Germany, if I'm correct. RME? Isn't that a brand that's made in Germany, which probably will also contribute to the cost? Most brands will have their stuff made in China these days, so, you know. Or they will have the parts produced in China and ship that over to whatever European or country or American company, and then they will assemble it on location there, so it's technically not made in China, but the individual parts still are, you know. That's an issue with a lot of electronic equipments these days. A very, very big issue that companies outsource so much these days, and quality is not always the most important thing anymore. They make their own chips too. Oh shit. That probably will also contribute a little to the extra cost. But yeah, for me, RME was definitely one of the options, but you know, it was such an expensive option compared to some of the other ones, and I was like, I really need a new interface now, and I don't really have that money at the moment that I can just shell. Oh no, it wasn't the money. I remember what it was back when I needed a new audio interface. The RMEs were sold out everywhere here in all the audio stores. Like they were not. I think it was at the sort of like the time when we were in the pandemic as well. So a lot of people started working from home. All these people doing classes and lessons from home. All these teachers now needing like a setup to talk to their students. You know, there were almost no RMEs available anywhere. I remember. And that's why I went for a Moto instead. That was the reason. I would have been fine with the price difference, because for me it's something that is, you know, it's tax deductible, and two, it's something I use every single day. I use it for the live stream, so it will eventually pay itself off anyway. So I wasn't too, you know, the price wasn't necessarily an issue for me. It was definitely, you know, on the expensive side though. Don't get me wrong. But I remember looking for them, and I was like, wait, there's like none anywhere. They're sold out everywhere. And I remember I messaged my local audio store, and they were like, it's probably gonna take a couple of months before we get some again, maybe. And I was like, okay, I cannot wait that long. But hey, the Moto, I'm actually really happy with that one. It works really well. Yeah, that's something I would definitely tell people. Make sure that it has loopback if you want to do anything with like screen sharing or stuff like that, or making videos or doing streaming or stuff like that. Then having a loopback feature in your audio interface is definitely a must. It basically rules out the need for anything like the voice meter stuff and like virtual cable routing and stuff like that, because it just does it all in the driver of the audio interface, which is much better. But like, if they would have been available back then, I probably would have gone with Army, to be honest. Okay, we've made this thing, but I'm not even sure if it works. We just made a weird stab sound. I guess it works. Little. Let's even out that level a bit. Webcam will be back in just a bit. Let's see. I'm probably gonna have to redo the Rees ourselves, but hey, let's see if we can quickly change. If we change this to be D, then that C sharp should still play a C sharp. Let's see if that works. So I'm kind of hearing some kind of a Rees thing here at the end, where we have that, what is it, F to, yeah, F to C sharp at the end there as like a transition thing. And then here we, yeah, I do kind of think we want to have some kind of a stabby bass here on the first part. Kind of works. And then like a response to that. So kind of like what we're doing now. Although I don't really like how this Rees sounds in this context. The groove. Bit too, I know, it's a bit too messy. Though some parts sound cool. This Rees in general is one that you want to resample because of the different pitches. Or what you can also do with this one is on Patreon, by the way, so what you can also do, instead of, you know, like if you want to get like, let's say you like this and you just want to get it more consistent, you can just add a new MIDI track, and you can set the input of that track to the other track, so 21 in this case, and just have that record MIDI, and it will actually record the MIDI that this plays. So if I now do a record here, oh, not on that track, on this track. Why is it not? Why are you not recording the MIDI? Well, it is recording MIDI, but not the MIDI that it should, huh? It is post effects, so wait. Why is that not recording the right MIDI? It should record the randomization now as well. Hmm? Oh wait. No, it's not. Why is it not recording that automation? That's so weird. Put that up to 100. So it's always changing the pitch on that high note. See, it's not recording the pitch for some reason. Really weird. Normally it would always just record the actual information, the MIDI information that comes out of here, comes out of this track, which should include this random MIDI note change. But for some reason that's not recording. Let's try... if I just do that. I mean, it should work now. Now it's working. Yeah, now it's working. Weird. See, so you can just record the... Now it's not recording properly because we have overdub turned on, so it's actually gonna add like more notes in here every time it loops. But you can just loop that, or just record that, and then just chuck that MIDI back onto the track it is coming from, and just turn that rack off. Turn that MIDI rack off here, and then it will just play whatever MIDI it was playing before when we recorded it. So that's kind of what you can do now, but I'm not sure why it didn't work earlier. I guess when it's set to in, it doesn't work, or something. No, it still works. I guess it's just only when it's weird, because here we do post effects, so it's still taking post effects of the entire track, right? So I would assume that the pitch would then be included in that. But it's not. See? Those are clearly the same pitches every time on the high note. So it's weird. I think Ableton is having a weird bug. Because this should take just post effects of the entire track, if I'm correct. But it's not, clearly. And if I do post effects here on the rack itself, then it works how it should. Is that a bug? Kinda looks like it though, if I'm honest. Because that's how it should respond. Weird. Not that it matters, but that's kinda odd. Okay, let's go. move this here. There for now. Yeah, that Reese is a bit too much at the moment. Let's do bam. Get the MIDI. Oh, MP is turned on. so low. Or if you have like a Reese, then usually that low C is just too low. You're just gonna be somewhere around there. Where's the chorus? Let's think. Am I hearing? I'm hearing something else. Oh wait, I am. Don't really like that really high stuff that happens there, but let's do. Let's just do an auto filter maybe. Auto filter, chuck it afterwards here maybe. A notch. What if we add a MIDI expression control in front of here? then we can use this to then we just choose the key track, and then we can set map, and then we can set this to here. So now that changes, and we have some glide time as well here. Just chuck that up a bit. We can see it's moving around here, depending on the incoming pitch, and we can still change this as well. I love that they added this change now, where when a device is mapped, you can still change the value. It's so much easier to work with as opposed to what it was before, where you would always have to go into the whatever device is controlling it and then change like the minimum and maximum values. It was such a pain, and now this is so much easier. Especially because you can still automate it as well. You can still go in here and say like, oh, we're gonna automate this as well, while it's also being modulated by something else. See, and that's such a nice thing to be able to do compared to what it was before. Not that we want to automate it now, but just to demonstrate. Let's try automating it though, but that one seems about right. Drop that on there. Oh, we cannot do that because it's already mapped by something else. Ah, okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Would be sick though, Ableton, if you're watching. Would be sick being able to map multiple modulators to one knob, because in synthesizers you can do that as well. So would be nice to be able to do that in Ableton. Just have like one of these, for instance, and key tracking on one knob. That would be sick. Bit weekend. Okay, we definitely want to automate it. Even though it already has movement on it, we want more movement. suddenly started raining out here. Sorry if you hear that, but not really much I can do about it. Happens if we chuck that on the start here. Almost no change. Oh, I'm in the wrong track. Let me remove this this track. Otherwise we're getting confused. Can we make that work better? Let's see. I thought maybe with a longer glide time it will sound nicer, but it actually doesn't, so... Yeah, definitely wants some kind of a change, but... Yeah, don't like it yet. God damn it. Stupid track. Where to take this goddamn track? Have a little listen again, because we're kind of getting lost with the original idea, I think. Well, I mean, initial idea. What idea? There isn't really a main like idea, except for the drums, maybe. Like, that is kind of like the main idea, I guess. Go there. I'm gonna go and do some more sound design. Bring you there. How do you count to 7? Hey. Yeah, I'm thinking where we can take this thing, though. That's the main thing. What does the... I've never used these. See what these sound like. Yeah? Oh, are we gonna do that? What is that? Weird instrument. Really what I... Bring you here. Yeah, I'm gonna turn that thing off for now. I'm gonna make something else for the intro. Let's see if we can get going somewhere with there. Let's grab a contact though, but we'll grab something else. Not in here. Grab some horns real quick. Don't think horns is gonna be the one. Let's go. I guess we just want to have some kind of a thing here. Grab one of the plucked ones. Sure. I know it sounds weird, but bear with me. I guess we're gonna test you out. Oh, nice. Did Dark Clips also make presets for this one? Interesting. Didn't know that. Oh, and Alchemy as well. Venus. Why am I not in here? Not gonna lie, maybe they've actually sent me an email, I just didn't see it. That's also a big possibility. See? I really wish they would add a lock feature for the mix. That would be so handy. Because now every time we go to a different preset, unless the preset is set to a mix of 100, it's going to change. See? For instance on this one. But it's really nice for making atmosphere. Oh, that's controlled by macro. It's a really nice tool for making weird sounds, for sure. They have added a lot of impulse responses in here. Back to that one. So let's just go and where is it? Do we have an initialized preset? Or we don't? Preset the default. There we go. So can I just how do you remove one? Oh, there. There we go. There we go. Okay. So let's add you. Oh, that's Fates. Yeah, that's Fates. Ah, nice. And it's also like for the stretch feature, it would be so much better if it would snap to values of 100, 200, 150, 250. Like those values would make sense if it would snap to that. I'm not sure if we can type values. Doesn't look like we can type values, so we do have fine control with control. But it still doesn't want to go to exactly 200%. See? That's what I mean. With convolution, it's a lot of times, especially if you start throwing tonal convolution impulses in here, it might be really beneficial if you can, you know, just set it exactly to 200% stretch, because then it basically changes the impulse response pitch with a full octave down. So if you would set this to 50%, then it would turn the impulse response an octave up, right? And from the looks of it, it's really finicky to get it exactly right. So it would be nice if it just would, in between these other values, if as soon as you go like past or like come near to like 25, it would just snap to 25 instead of 24.9, right? Something like that. And then as soon as you get to like 50, snap to the value of 50. And then as soon as you get to 100, snap to 100. Same thing here, snap to like 150 maybe. And then like 200%, maybe like 400% and 300 in between. So that's like, because then you get like the octaves and the fifths if you put like a tonal impulse response in here. That would be a nice and helpful thing to have. By the way, is it not... If this is highlighted, can I still... Oh yeah, it still works. It doesn't have the isotope issue. Isotope plugins just... they don't really work well on my machine. As soon as I use one of the isotope plugins, only with the VST3 plugins though, when the window of the plugin is highlighted, the transport control with my spacebar just completely stops. And I've already set it inside of the isotope plugins. There's like a little setting for that where you can tell it to not sort of like take over, you know, the, what is it called? I forgot, but basically there is a setting for that so that it doesn't take over the controls of like the transport controls of your DAW, but it still does it even when that thing is turned on. So I'm like, okay. Which was also one of my complaints when they released Trash 3. Yeah, it's so fucking annoying, and it's all the Isotope VST3 plugins. Like, literally all the Isotope VST3 plugins have that same issue for me. Like, if we open up Trash... Right? And this window is highlighted. Oh, Huh? What the fuck? Oh, there we go. See? Spacebar doesn't do shit. Until I click back in here and then it works again. It's so annoying. And there is a thing for it in the options, I believe. Go to options and then there should be a thing in here. Keyboard something. Keyboard support. Minimal, full, or none. If it's set to none, it should not take over any of the keys of that your DAW sends out. It should just not listen to any key controls whatsoever. But apparently it still does the same thing, right? It's still... Spacebar does not work. It's so fucking annoying, and I'm not the only one that has the issue, I know that. I know a lot of people have the same issue, if not everybody. And I believe it's not the case for VST2. Not sure why none of the VST2 plugins show up though. Oh yeah, of course, VST2 plugins don't have the name of the company in it. Embedded in the actual thing. Trash, where are you? It's of course called Isotope Trash or something. Whatever. But basically, when you use a VST2 plugin, it works fine. The transport control will keep working, but with VST3 plugins, it doesn't. Or Isotope. And yeah, I was like, when they released Trash 3, I was like, really? Are you really going to release new plugins before fixing that crucial little issue that all of your plugins have? And apparently, yes. So many people complain about it as well. Like, I know a lot of people who told them about it and was like, hey, this just makes the plugins almost unusable. Because it's just such an annoying thing, having to click back into your DAW every single time you change one little thing in one of the plugins. Same with Trash. Yeah, it's Trash, Ozone, basically all of them. Like if we open up Ozone, we get the exact same thing. If I have Ozone open, as long as I do this, it should still work. But as soon as we move one of these things around, spacebar stops working. And we have to click back in here. It's so goddamn annoying. And seeing it's the only plugin manufacturer of all the plugins that I own that does it, you would think that they should be able to fix it, right? Like, if all the other companies can do it right, then shouldn't they also be able to do it right? But it's been like that for a really long time. Like, it even happens with just the single imager, for instance. Like, we can just do that, spacebar stops working. And all of these will probably have that same thing in here, where you can, keyboard minimal. Yeah, see, it's set to minimal, so we set it to none. You would expect it to just work, right? Okay, works. Open it up, still works. Stops working. It's so weird. And it drove me nuts a while ago as well. I couldn't figure it out, and I was looking in all my like Windows hotkeys and looking if there was like some other piece of software that was taking over the spacebar, and I was like, yeah, it has to be the Isotope plugins. But I saw a lot of people say the same thing, so yeah, definitely is those plugins. Setting it to 1 bar is gonna be weird because Ableton or autofilter probably still thinks 1 bar is 4 beats. But our 1 bar is 7 beats. Yeah. Where is it? Wait. Is it working right? Sounds like this. Or not. Maybe I'm just confused, but... Not sure if we're getting anywhere with this one though today. Don't really feel like we are. So, I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep streaming. Because I'm getting a bit annoyed with this one. I don't want to quit yet though, because it's not midnight yet. So, let's, what can we do? Back to that maybe. Hmm. That actually also works. Yeah. Really not sure what it's work. Also doesn't help that my rib hurts with every move that I make. That's the main thing that is really annoying me tonight. I can't wait until that fucking bruised rib is gone. Such an annoying feeling. Not sure if any of you ever had it, but if you've had, then you know. Like everything you do basically hurts. That hurts. Laughing hurts. You need to sneeze. That's the worst. Sleeping is absolutely horrible, by the way, because you cannot lie on your side, which I normally do when I sleep. So I cannot. But when you lie on your back, usually you also feel it, and you might think, well, maybe what if you just lie on your other side? Well, that also doesn't feel too comfortable most of the time. So yeah, there's really not much options. So I really cannot wait until it's gone, because man, it sucks. But yeah, I don't really think I'm getting anywhere with this today, so I might just call it a night, because it's not really working today. Whatever. If you want to know how I made that reach, just go back in the stream, because I made it during that stream. Like, I literally made it earlier in the stream, so it's nothing too spectacular, honestly. It's just 2 sols, bit of FM, home filter, and some standard stuff in here. Nothing too crazy. Mostly just what makes the sound of that reese interesting is, I guess, that notch filter. That's the most interesting thing that makes it more interesting. Gives it like some more like movement, but other than that, it's pretty standard. Distortion on some sols, basically. But yeah, I don't really think we're getting anywhere with this today, so a couple of people who are still here, thanks. I'll be back next week and see if that turns out any better. Any last questions? No? Okay. I'll be in the Discord though, so if you want to join the Discord, link will be in the chat. And if you want to support me on Patreon. That's the best place. Yeah. Sorry for tonight's stream not being the best. Let's just blame it on the bruise rib. Gotta blame it on something, right? Let's just blame it on that. I'll probably post another pack on Patreon this upcoming week, maybe. Working on some more samples for that pack, but I already made a bunch, so probably expect another pack soon on Patreon. I know I already dropped one last week, but there's gonna be another one soon. Yeah, I'll be back next week though. Friday, 8:30 p.m. Amsterdam time, roughly. Check out when that is for you. I would like to see you back then. We'll probably have a bit of a better stream then. I hope that my rib is gonna feel a bit better next week. And that I'm not just having an annoying pain the entire stream. That would be great. Yeah. Thanks. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.